There's something powerful about building in silence, not because you're hiding, not because you're scared, but because some vision grows better in quiet. I used to think every idea needed people's validation, every move needed announcement, and every dream needed an audience. But over time, I realized that sometimes you don't need the loudest noise. The loudest people are not even always the one building the biggest things. Sometimes the people that is posting every day, every seconds, are not creating something sustainable behind the scene. And sometimes the quiet person in the corner is actually truly building something that people are not seeing. So today I want to talk about the process of building quietly, the loneliness of it, the discipline of it, and why silence can become one of the greatest weapon for growth. We live in a world where people feel pressure to document every step. New project is coming soon, big announcement is loading, something huge is happening. I've been there, and honestly, sometimes we announce things too early because we want emotional reward before the actual work is being done. The brain receives the dopamine, the attention that it likes from people by saying, "Wow, congratulations, I'm proud of you. You're going to blow up." But the dangerous things that we don't really understand about this is the fact that sometimes the celebration comes before the constructions. And when that happens, motivation slowly disappears because you've actually gotten what you're looking for. I started learning that we builders become addicted to the process, not applaud, because applaud is temporarily, but structure, system, discipline, those things change lives permanently. And a lot of people love the idea of success, but very few people love the repetition of success. Very few people love editing at midnight, studying when nobody's watching, having deep reading for like 4 hours, failing privately, restarting quietly, and learning slowly. But that healing process is the real work and where transformation started. And if you are in that journey and you're thinking that you're not building as it should be, or you're not getting the applaud, and people are just thinking you're not doing anything, keep at what you're doing. You're actually building the right way, because that's what will bring sustainability. Because many of us think that we want fast applaud, fast process. But if you go deeper and check, people that are really, really doing the most are the people that have built over the years. And the building of the years, few minutes of viral moment will not change the work that has been done in the years of building. And they can actually truly relax from the business of the world and be present in the moment. Because if it is virality you're looking for, you keep chasing virality, you keep chasing the numbers. But when the numbers is not your problem, and it's deep focus of learning a process and a system that will work even when you're not available, that's what you need. And that's what we transformation and progress. So we'll move to the next step on what we're going to be doing. I know you'll be curious, how am I going to start? When we build quietly, something start happening internally. You stop performing for success and start becoming successful. There's a difference between the two. Some people are curating the image of success, while others are actually developing the capacity for it. Quiet seasons force you to face yourself, to really be present with yourself. No validation, no cheering crowd, just no immediate result, just you, your discipline, your consistency, and your vision and goals. And that's why many people quit, because the applause is not immediately. Because silence actually still reveal whether you truly believe in what you're building. And honestly, some of the hardest seasons in life are the seasons where nothing looks impressive internally. Nobody sees the studying, nobody sees the sacrifices, nobody sees the failed attempt, nobody sees the night you doubted yourself countless times, nobody sees the crying, but Foundations are invisible before the building become visible. And that's something social media really teaches these days because of virality. The internet celebrates outcomes, but life is building process. Even YouTube itself is rewarding creators who build deep, long-form conversations, truth storytelling, rather than just chasing fast, viral moments. That's why I've started respecting people who are consistent more than people who are just loud, because consistency is very expensive. It's hard. It's not something that you do and just stop. It's something that even when nobody's looking at you, you won't want to keep continuing doing what you're doing, because that thing is what you're building your true character when nobody is there to give you applaud. So what am I saying in essence is, build quietly even when you don't feel like it. It is hard for you in this particular time and seasons that we are. But there are a lot of people that are actually looking for true, genuine connection with people that are deep thinkers, because we live in a very shallow world right now. So let's be honest, building quietly can feel really lonely, especially when people around you don't understand your actual vision yet. You may look inactive internally, but you may look inactive externally, but internally your mind is constantly creating. Sometimes your friends think you disappeared on them. Sometimes your family members wonder why is this person distant? And sometimes people mistake your silence for failure, or you're not doing anything, you're lazy. But what they don't realize is this: some seasons requires isolation for construction should truly happen. Not forever, but temporarily, because growth needs a lot of focus. And focus is becoming rare in this modern day society that we live in. Everybody is distracted, scrolling, comparing, reacting, giving their opinion. Meanwhile, the quiet users are slowly stacking skills, reading, learning, creating system, improving their mindset, developing patience. Most successful things in life grows in the quiet first moment. Tree grows quietly, pregnancy happens quietly, healing happens quietly, wisdom develops quietly, even death happens quietly. Noise may attract attention for a moment. Noise may give you the validation that you need for temporary pleasure. But one thing that I know about silence is that silence builds substance. It builds system. It builds you as a person. It makes you present with yourself and understanding the deep value that you are. Many people don't understand the fact that you were created for deep meaning, not for what we naturally chase. Yes, we need the money to grow, but what is the value that people will remember you for when you're gone? Is it just the money? Is it just the fame? Or is it the character and the trueness of self that you've built within yourself? There was this particular person in the Bible that died, and people don't want her to leave, and they prayed for her to come back to life. I can't remember her name right now. I think it's Leah. I can't remember her name. But that will tell you the true meaning of who she was as a person when she was alive, because people don't even want her to go. So if you die today, will somebody say thank God that they are dead, or the person validates that this person don't need to live right now because this person is loved genuinely and needs to be alive? So one thing I had to learn the hard way is this: do not wait for people to believe in your vision before you start working on it. It might be simple to you, but it's something from somebody. Sometimes people cannot see what God has shown you the way you see it. And honestly, that's okay. Not every vision will make sense at the beginning. Some people only understand success after the result become really visible. But builders understand something very important that nobody sees, that visibility is usually the final stage, but not the first stage. People see the launch, they don't see the years of preparations, the years of building. People see the product, but but they don't see the stress that you go through before that product is created. People see the confidence, but they don't see the years of healing process you had to go through, the unlearning and the relearning. People see the money, but they don't see the discipline. And social media had made many people impatient. Somebody wants overnight success, but sustainability usually grows slowly. Even in the creator economy, the creator lasting long terms are the one building system, not chasing quick attention. And that's why I stopped obsessing over looking at people that are successful, and I became more interested in becoming capable of what I can do, because eventually capacity speaks louder than announcement. And people might see you in one place as the quiet person, but when they speak to you truly and deeply, they see the deep things that you know, because you've not always been the loudest. The loudest can look like they know what they are doing, but not all the time when you speak truly. This particular episode I'm doing is just thinking out loud and thinking about how this generation has declined in connecting and building truly without expecting validation from people. It is okay to be liked by one person, because when you're building for your tribe, not everybody would understand that resonates with what you know or what you do as a person, because of your capacity of thinking. And if you look at it, the ways of the large crowd is many. The ways of crowd that you don't need is many, but the crowd that you need might be few. And sometimes the few can be much more than the loud crowd or the biggest crowd. That's why the rich are the 1% of the world and not the 99% of the world. This part is very important to me. You see, building process may look boring at first, but repetition is not glamorous too. Filming video consistently, learning like an editing skill, studying business, researching stock, designing product, reading books, starting all over again, preparing for that course. It's repetitive, but repetition creates mastery. That's what I've come to understand over the years. Most people quit because the process feels too ordinary, but ordinary lives are usually built through ordinary action repeated consistently. Why I'm using YouTube? Because YouTube is where a lot of people post a lot of things. Even YouTube growth itself heavily on retention, pasting, structure, and consistency rather than just hype moments. Small improvement every day compound massively over time. And honestly, some of your greatest season will happen privately before the world actually notices it publicly. That's why I cannot measure progress only by how people grow viral and just get visible. Sometimes the growth is very invisible at first, very slow at first, very one way at first, very quiet. When I was studying, I think when I was much younger in primary or secondary, when they were teaching us about people that created things, they said the person that created the light bulb did it 100 times. I don't know how true that is, but 100 times, we can imagine how those moments were really, really quiet and testing for somebody to repeat something 100 times. And that bred a law that I trained myself to, that if I cannot do something up to 100 times and it fails, I'll continue doing it until I get results. Because in building in those quiet times, you need repetition to master and become a master of that thing. But you do it 1 or 2 or 3 times and you just give up and say, I'm not doing it again, it's stressful. You're not going to gain mastery. And like I said before, every individual in this earth is created for a purpose, not just to eat food and birth children and get married. Not all of us are going to get married, and not all of us are going to have children. But there's a purpose you were created for. And that purpose, you need to search deeply to find it, to know it, and to live it honestly, without feeling guilt of the things people count as success. I don't know if you get what I mean. So if you are currently in a quiet season, keep building even when nobody claps yet, even if people misunderstand you, even if the numbers are still small, even if progress feels really slow. Do not confuse silence with failure. Some of the strongest foundations are built underground where nobody can see. Your job right now may not be to impress people. Your job may simply be to prepare well. Prepare your mindset, prepare your discipline, prepare your skill, your value system, prepare your spirit, because when the opportunity finally comes, you wouldn't need to pretend. You will just be you because you've gone through that process. You'll be ready. And maybe one day people would call you lucky, but deep down, you'll remember the silent night, the lonely process, the consistency nobody saw us at that time. And that's the thing about quiet builders. The world usually notices them the last, but when it finally does come, it becomes invisible for somebody to actually ignore them. And this is for the silent builders and people who wants to build something that outlive them, that keeps something for their children, even to their fourth generation. Because many people think that when they were mentioning that verse, that a father should keep an inheritance for their children, they just believe that that particular verse is for just parents alone, and for just dad alone and money. But that's not it, because living life and keeping something for your children is not just money, because money in the wrong hands will finish with no time, But when you create value systems and you create structures that they can follow suit, it will be very hard for them to lose essence, to lose value, and to lose who they are as a human being. And when you can gain those characters, especially when you come from a family where these things are not naturally built and you're the pace setter or trying to break that protocol, there are certain things you have to face realistically that will be hard. Because, like I said initially, people applaud people that are visible as successful. But grow that process, break that pattern, and do the hard work. It will pay at the end. And I'm wishing you luck, anybody that is here. I'm wishing you success, and I'm wishing you wisdom. Bye.